What's up guys, it's Red here, and in this video I want to present you 5 tips and tricks that should help you to be more effective on the battlefield, and which you can use in certain situations to your advantage. We will start with something more basic and move on to more interesting tricks after that, so if you already know something, make sure you watch the video to the end. And let's begin. First of all, of course, I just can't avoid talking about 15 meters rule, which I think should be known by everyone, but unfortunately it's not. I see here and there lights taking some bush, standing there for some time, then firing, getting spotted and dying in a few seconds. And it's one of the most important game mechanics which carries battles, especially on the open maps. And let's look at some more or less realistic examples I tried to imitate in the training room. The rule itself is that if you're closer than 15 meters to the bush, you can spot enemies through the bush, but if you fire, the bush disappears for the very short moment. So if you stand in the bush and fire, it's just the same as if you fire while standing in the open field. How to know that you're closer than 15 meters to the bush? If the bush is at least partially transparent, then you're closer than 15 meters from it, and you better don't shoot. If you want to shoot, you roll back from the bush until it's no longer transparent. Then you can't spot anyone, but you can shoot and stay invisible. Take into account that the tree heads also cover you in the same way, even the standing trees. But the tree trunk doesn't cover you. One of the most powerful techniques is to roll into the bush, spot enemies, roll back and shoot, then roll into the bush to keep enemies spotted, roll back and shoot again, and so on. Second little tip, which is useful specifically for light tanks or quicker mediums, is about taking some bush which is close to the enemy territory. For example, a cheat bush in Redshire. The trick is pretty simple and obvious, but again, I meet a lot of lights that don't do it. The trick itself is to take some bush with back or side to the front, so that you are already looking in the direction of escape while standing in the bush. If you get spotted, you won't lose any time on turning, you press W and you escape on full speed. Don't forget that in a light, you can adjust your position already after you take the bush, since your stationary camo and camo on the move is the same. Mediums can do that too, because the bush they are standing behind should provide enough cover for mediums not to get spotted while turning behind it. Bushes can hide a shooting tank, as we could see in the first trick, let alone some turning medium. You could see me doing this in most of my battles. I even drive with my back to the front sometimes, of course if I don't plan to go far. Now let's move on to Prokhorovka and another pretty realistic example. Suppose you are the mighty light and you spot a tank destroyer far away in the open. And it does happen on this spot from time to time, you know. If you have good gun handling or quick aiming time, like for example T100LT or Sheridan, then you can fire almost immediately. But you shouldn't. Most tank destroyers use binoculars, and their view range with binoculars is not enough to outspot your lights thanks to your camo. But it's enough to spot you after a shot. Instead of shooting as quickly as possible, even if you are already fully aimed, wait for the enemy's sixth sense to go off. Since the enemy doesn't see anyone, he starts to retreat, losing the view range bonus of binoculars and becoming pretty much blind. So if you wait for the enemy tank destroyer to move and then you shoot it, then you will have no risk of being spotted. Next little trick is about shooting on the move. Lights and mediums have to shoot on the move pretty much, and not always they are very close to the target to hit it with every shot. However, there is a good way to improve your accuracy on the move. Before you fire, make sure that you don't turn. If you turn, then just stop turning for a moment. And also release W just before the shot. You will lose a little speed, but your aiming circle will contract pretty significantly. This trick will help you to have a lot more snapshots, and even tanks like Cromwell will start to hit targets on the move much more often. Yes, you lose some speed, but usually it's not critical. Anyway, the amount of speed you lose is all up to you, but releasing W even for the very small moment will certainly help. And the last little trick for today is about catching enemies in the open. Sometimes it happens that you are expecting enemy to appear from cover, and of course you want to shoot it immediately. But that can be a mistake. Yes, you will deal damage, but the enemy will roll back behind his cover and you'll have to invent something new to kill him. Instead, wait for the enemy to get more in the open, because the enemy won't immediately know that he's spotted. The sixth sense goes off only after 3 seconds, and maybe the enemy is permanently spotted, you know? Anyway, that's enough for the enemy to be far away from cover, so you'll be able to put more shots into him. Maybe it's a strange example here, although this kind of thing happened to me in Chaffee review, but you can also catch mediums and heavies like that in other places. Just don't hurry to shoot. If you shoot 1 or 2 seconds later, nothing bad will happen. In this sense, it's similar to the trick with the tank destroyers. So, if you found this video helpful, then just share this video with your friends and clanmates and let's all play better. Of course, leave other small tricks in comments. If I have enough tricks there, then I will make another video with tricks. And of course, these tricks can be for mediums, for heavies too. We all want to play better, meet better allies and worthy opponents. Thank you for watching and see you in bushes.